Yes. All right, we're here.
Let me start the intro. Greetings and salutations. It is I, once again, your Lord and Savior, Lord Monarch. Back to you again with another video, but this time this video is very special. Here with another episode of Voice of the People. My guest, please introduce yourself.
What's poppin', people? It's your boy, Emerldminer. I know Lord Monarch a few times. I guess you got my government name there, but you know what? It's fine. They probably already know it from like Twitter and stuff. So, yeah, I've been playing Pokemon ever since X and Y when it came out. When I was 13, I've been playing it since then. Uploaded to YouTube since 2020. Been doing drafts and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, an avid Pokemon fan.
Wait, so your first game was Gen 6?
Yes, sir. Gen 6. I was a late bloomer. A lot of my friends, they've been playing since like Fire Red and Leaf Green. I just never got that into it. And as soon as I saw the 3D sprites, I was like, yo, this is it. It's my time to get in.
I'm not going to lie. When I was in high school, like, okay, you ever played those Naruto fighting games on the PlayStation 2? What was it called? Ultimate Ninja?
No, I did not.
But
I'm a Nintendo fanboy. Didn't have any Sony or Xbox or nothing.
But did you at least see, like, I don't know, a gameplay trailer or anything of it? Or your friends play it? The Ultimate Ninja Naruto games?
Not that I recall, no.
Okay, so the reason why I mention that is because, like, when I was in high school and I saw X and Y on the 3DS, I was like, oh my goodness, these graphics, they remind me of the Naruto Ultimate Ninja games on the PlayStation 2, which is a very visually pleasing game. So, you know, maybe, I don't know, you want to check it out. Just look at the graphics if you ever get the chance.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now to see how it looks.
Yeah,
all it's showing me is just like
on the PlayStation 2. Yeah, the PlayStation 2. Like if you want to like quickly look at like a quick fight of like Naruto and Sasuke
gameplay.
Yeah.
No, I can see that. Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yes, that it does have a similar type, the way that they look. Yeah,
I know. That's why I was freaking out when I was in high school when Gen 6 came out.
Yeah. Those are some good times. A lot of my friends are really hyped for it as well.
Right. Ironic enough, Gen 6 was also the time where I indulged competitive play. It wasn't my first Pokemon game, but it was my first time battling competitively.
Right. My friend that got me into it, he was already kind of involved in like competitive battling, so I very quickly learned from him. So I kind of went into the deep end and immediately just immersed myself in like breeding and IVs and EVs and training and Wi-Fi battles and all that.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, the whole shebang, IVs, EV training, natures, egg moves, it was ridiculous. And then on top of that, you remember those days where you had to search for the 6 IV Ditto? Because that shit was very important when it came to breeding. You remember those days?
I know. I never had to search for it. My buddy, he got me one clone.
You had the hookup.
I got the hookup. Yeah, that's what I did. But until then, I had to rely on the friend Safari and just getting like 3 IV Dittos and kind of using multiple ones to get what I needed.
Sometimes you'd even run into a 4 IV Ditto. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, those are good. Yeah.
So when exactly did you start your YouTube channel?
I started it, I want to say sometime January 2020. It was just, I got an Elgato capture card as a Christmas present.
Right.
So I wanted to use that to like start my channel. At first, it was just kind of like a place for me to upload my Wi-Fi battles.
Right.
I'd grown up watching Shofu and Pokemon, and I was like, oh man, I would love to be able to upload my Wi-Fi battles one day. So I started doing that. And I didn't really upload that much first. It wasn't until we got the Isle of Armor DLC for Sword and Shield that I really started uploading a lot more. I had this one video of like me training up this shiny Azrael that I taught in Black and White 2 when I went back and played it. And it was absolute trash, wrong nature, wrong ability, wrong IVs. But in Gen 8, they made it to where you could change all that. And you could, the mints, the bottle caps. I could even use the breeding system with the egg moves. I just had to put it with another Azumarill that already knew Belly Drum, and boom, it learned Belly Drum. So it was like I was able to just fix all this stuff that wasn't possible back when I started in Gen 6. So it was kind of like a symbol of like, look how much we've grown from the old days of competitive.
Right.
And that's still one of my most viewed YouTube videos, so yeah.
Wait, when you say viewed, so like you did a Let's Play of Sword and Shield?
I did separately do a Nuzlocke, yes, but that was like just a 3-minute like music video I did, just like doing all the stuff on screen of like getting it from this shiny trash Azurill into a fully competitive, and that's Azumarill I've still used today. I've used it multiple times in draft leagues or in different Wi-Fi battles, so I'm still getting dividends from that same Pokemon.
Right, so like Azumarill, for those of you that don't know, for those of you that are new to the competitive, during the era of Gen 6, Azumarill used to be OU. Gen 6 and Gen 7, I believe, it used to be OU.
Back in the good old days.
I mean, it was still pretty good in Gen 4 and Gen 5, but I think Gen 6 and 7, that's where it really shined, because again, it was OU, so...
Yeah, it got that fairy typing, and that water fairy typing has been absolutely crucial. I mean, you think about mons that have it, like Tapu Fini, even Primarina are all very good with that water fairy typing.
Right, yeah. Poor dragons. The fairies really are the banes of dragons' existence. Back in the day when dragons was the top typing.
Yeah, Rip, you can't... Well, I think Blunder put out a video where he tried to use Drag Mag, where it's like you have 5 Dragon-type Pokemon in a Magnezone, and in theory you trap the Steel types, because back in the day, Steel types were the only thing that could resist dragons.
Right, right. Not only that, like Steel types, they also used to resist Dark and Ghost moves. But
right,
they changed that, and when did they change it? Gen 5 or Gen 6?
Gen 6, because of Age Slash. I don't know if it was because of that, but it was around that same time. Because could you imagine how much even more broken Age Slash would have been if it was Noosh, Ghost, and Dark?
I mean, to me, to be honest, like, I was never really afraid of Aegislash because I knew what was coming. I knew how to deal with it. Like, yeah, there's a special offensive Aegislash build, but again, like, if you know the meta, you know that most people run physical. If they run physical, you know they're gonna run, what's it called again? Night Shield? That's the name of the move?
King Shield.
Right, King Shield, Swords Dance, Shadow Sneak, Sacred Sword. That's the main #1 set. So if I see that shit coming, I'ma just burn the motherfucker with the Will-O-Wisp. You feel me?
Yeah. King Shield can't protect you from Will-O-Wisp.
Exactly. It can't. And then on top of that, you have priority like Sucker Punch, and you have other moves. And let's not forget that was a meta where Mega Lopunny was a thing. So I could...
Right, at least in Oras, once we got to that point,
Right, exactly. So Mega Lopunny had moves like High Jump Kick, it had Fake Out, it had Drain Punch. It was like, I wasn't afraid of Aegislash, you know what I mean? But, which, that's another thing I want to talk to you, is Smogon. Yeah. So, yeah, now we're going to get to the nit and gritty of this conversation now, so... I know you are a cadre of what I like to call the Weavile Corporation.
Yes, I am one of the...
But you're one of the few cadres that I like. Weavile is pretty cool. He's a humble, likable individual, honest individual. But the majority of the people in that server, they're a bunch of fucking gay-ass cocksuckers, man. Not all of them, just the majority. But you are one of the few that I like. All right? So, now, the thing is, I remember when you and I, we were having our battles, right? And we had the conversation about Smogon. We had the conversation about... tiers, about the rules, regulations, but one of the #1 things that caught my attention, and I was actually really surprised that you had this opinion, is the situation with item clause. Can you explain to the audience your views on item clause, the who, what, when, where, why, how?
Right. My opinions might have shifted on this, actually, but I mean, my view was always that I've been used to I mean, in my standard Wi-Fi battle days, have being able to use multiple items at a time. Item clause in general is you can only have one item of each type on your Pokemon. You can't double up on AV or Choice Scarf or none of that. And I mean, I always like the ability to like change things up. Like if I want to run 2 Life Orbs, I'll run 2 Life Orbs. If I want to run 2 Choice Scarfs, I'll do that. Usually, I wouldn't run like 6 of any kind. That if you're doing that, that's kind of like for a meme video, right? Well, honestly, my views, I think, started to shift on that because of draft, I think. Although most of the drafts I've done don't have item clause. I did one draft with item clause, and I forgot about it. And I won the battle 4-0, but because I forgot that I had an extra choice specs, I got on the DQ. I got a loss, and that cost me playoffs. But Pokemon Champions has kind of started to make me shift my opinion on this, because now I'm having to actually really think about each of the items and like, which one do I want to give the Life Orb? Which one do I want to give the Citrus Berry? Which one gets the leftovers? So it does force a lot more prep, which I've already kind of been used to from draft anyways. So I think it's and also VGC also has item clause, I believe, too.
Right.
So it's a good thing to do to like force you to get into that mental space of like prepping and allocating resources, you know? So I think it's a healthy thing that you want to do if you choose.
So another thing you said to me is item clause is a good thing because you're giving your Pokemon different roles.
Right.
You remember that? Yeah.
I can imagine that probably from my days of draft. Yeah, that might have been put into my head. Yeah.
The thing is, one of the reasons why it's a good thing to give your Mons different roles is like, say like you're playing a game of chess. We'll use that analogy.
Right, exactly. That's a great analogy. My favorite.
You have your different pieces. You have the pawn, you have the knight, you have the bishop, you have the king, the queen, etc. And they could all do different things. They all have different roles, right?
Right.
Obviously, with the queen being the most powerful piece, but the king being the most important piece. And every piece, you know, they have special techniques that they could do.
Right.
Like how the knight could actually, exactly, it could jump over the other pieces, right? And that really comes in handy, right? So it's like, when you're battling with item clause, think of it like that. Do you really want a team filled with stall or filled with offensive Mons? Isn't like the usual consensus, like the more versatile Mons you have, like the more balanced team you have, the more chance you have of winning the actual fight. Like, don't get me wrong,
for sure.
There's a place for hyper offensive. I know that's a stratagem. And there's also a place for stall. Now, when I was making my teams on Smogon, on Pokemon Showdown, because I told you before, I like to test my teams, practice to see how far I could get on the ladder, learn what the meta is, and then start battling people in Wi-Fi battles. But I give myself that handicap. I use item clause, which kinda, depending on how you look at it, puts me at a disadvantage because my other opponents, they're not using item clause. Now, back in the day, Gen 7, that was the generation I got good, by the way. I would constantly run into individuals that would keep putting leftovers on their Mons, constantly putting leftovers, or the Eviolite, or very few times they would use Black Sludge. And it's like, well, that's why there's so many stall teams, because there's no item clause, there's nothing stopping them from doing it. Now, you could still make a stall team with item clause. It's just more difficult to do it. It requires more brain power to do it. And it's like, you would get online, you would battle all these Smogonites. Now, again, not all Smogonites are like this. There are Smogonites, they're open-minded, they're intelligent. they could make it to the top of the ladder by being different. But here's the problem with most Smogon players. They fawn upon being different. They fawn upon being creative, being unique, hence why they fawn upon item clause. They just want to copy and paste everything that they see. And I don't know if you've seen my other Voice of the People videos or some of my other videos in general,
I watched
where
it,
I mentioned this. I show proof of this, of how most Smogon players are. Again, not all of them are like that, just the majority. And it's like, it doesn't matter what kind of logic you use. Like, for instance, Zangoose Toxic Boost, how if you teach it Throat Chop, it's a perfect counter to Skull Dirge, and it also fucks up Ghoul-Dango. A Smogonite doesn't want to hear that, because they're going to tell you, well, that's not a set. Why does it have to be a set?
Wait, they say that? Just because it's not a set? Come on. That's crazy.
I know, right? It is.
Like, I mean, I a lot of times because I go through and I breed every single Pokemon. That's what I did for Sword Shield, what I did for Scarlet and Violet. And a lot of times for some of the indie Pokemon, I'll look up those sets on Smogon, right? But I might change up some of the stuff. I might say, okay, well, maybe we'll put this move over that move. Maybe we'll change this slightly, you know? I use that as like a guideline, but I can always feel free to change up my stuff.
Exactly. That's what Smogon is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a guideline for beginners, like a child on their tricycle. And then as they get older and they get used to the tricycle, they advance from the tricycle to an actual bicycle, a two-wheeled bicycle. That's what Smogon is supposed to be. If you keep copying and pasting every single thing you see, you're not really learning, you're not growing, you're still on the tricycle, you're still on the training wheels. But most Smogonites, they can't think that. That's why when they get outplayed, I don't want to say out-predicted. I'm going to say outplayed, because I suck at predicting. I do. I fucking suck at that's why I have to use stratagems that people aren't familiar with, so I could catch them by surprise. So that I don't have to play the prediction mind game. That's why I do that. That's why I learn what the meta is, I learn how these mons work, and I come up with my own sets. And nobody could really counterplay me at anything. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But that's the fun of the game. If everyone used the same shit all the time, you could see it coming. Is that fun? That's not fun, that's boring.
Stale.
It is, you get it. You get it, and that's why I fucks with you, man. You get shit, bro. So it's like, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I like item clause, because you got to put on your thinking cap to figure out how these characters work and how to get the W.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, sometimes I just like to have fun, and like I said, I just like all of my Wi-Fi battles pretty much. I'm not out there in the lab. I'm not training them on Showdown. I am like building these teams in like 5 to 10 minutes. I'm saying, all right, let's see what we can make work with this. And it's like, oh, maybe I'll put I can't do it anymore on Champions, but usually on Scarlet and Violet, I would say, all right, let's throw a couple life orbs, let's throw some leftovers, let's throw this, let's throw that. And I'll probably stick to item clause, but it's not like a hard rule for me. It's like, okay, maybe I'll have all 6 different items. Maybe it'll be 1 or 2 duplicates, just because I'm trying to go all out offense and have fun. But that's just how I like to play. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Yeah, and it's like, let me put it like this. Like, if you want to play Smogon Draft, VGC, Battle Stadium singles, or Coliseum style singles, which that's my specialty, Coliseum style, you can play however it is you want. But the thing is with me with Smogon is that I don't like it, because you're creating a limited toxic environment, and then you're labeling what's good and what isn't good, and you get to dictate what's good and what isn't good in that environment that you yourself is creating. Like, yeah, I know people don't like evasiveness, and there's some items that piss people off, but it's like some of these characters need that to have a chance against the other characters. Are they necessarily bad? because they need to use double team, they need to use minimize, or they need baton pass to pass over stats and substitute. Like, are they really bad because you choose to ban them and they need those stratagems to win? That's another question.
Right. Well, I think that an alternative to that is kind of what they come up with, because me personally, I don't really enjoy like the overused. I used to back in Gen 6 and 7, but 8 and 9, I don't know what it is. Maybe if it's Pokemon become too powerful for power creep, but it almost starts to feel at a certain point, like when I'm using like Great Tusk and Golden Go, and it's like I just King Gambit, I just dread seeing these Pokemon. It's like me myself, it doesn't feel like I'm getting the win. They feel too easy. It's like easy mode for Pokemon. I prefer to go down into like the UUs and the NUs and the RUs. Use those Pokemon where they're at, where they can have a stable metagame, where they can actually shine. And that's It's really the beauty of what I enjoy about Smogon, is that it gives you these different tiers to use some of these Pokemon that ordinarily you would never see in VGC unless somebody's trying to do a meme team or something in regional. And you can actually use them and use them well, and they work there. And that's what I really like about Smogon. So the OU, I mean, I'll probably play it at like the start of Gen 10. I haven't touched Gen 9 OU in like years.
Right. Yeah. So basically, your thoughts on the tier system? You agree with it?
Yeah.
You agree with the tier system?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I the concept of just being able to use a lot of these Pokemon that might not do well in OU, but maybe they'll do well in EU, maybe they'll do well in NU, and seeing where they all match up. And I love seeing all my boxes. I have like each of the boxes are labeled like OU, NU, or RU, and just all spread throughout. And I have all the Pokemon sorted, and I like having that system and saying like, okay, and maybe I might have like a mixed. Sometimes I would challenge people, they would challenge me to a mixed tier battle where we would like take one from each tier and try to battle them together just for fun and see how they do.
Right. You know what, that reminds me of the last best 2 out of 3 we had, and like I know I used a team with a Sudowoodo, and you're like, dude, why would you bring that to this guy? and
I feel like at some point I had to have had used Sudowoodo, because I think I used Sudowoodo at some point in Scarlet and Violet to spam Choice Scarf or Choice Banded Head Smashes or something.
Right.
Rockhead.
But yeah, like in the last best 2 out of 3 we had, I don't know if you remember it, but like again, like I used Sudowoodo, I used Dragapult, I used a whole bunch of like that was on my list of weak teams. That's just like something that I do. I like starting battles off with wimpy teams, and then I start getting a little bit serious in the next round. Right. Like remember when the second round that I won, I used the Alolan Raichu, and you were like, I was very interested. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. And you were like, you didn't know that low tier mons could be used that way.
Yeah, I probably did. I just thought maybe, I don't know, because I'm trying to remember when they were, because I've really gone on such like a journey all throughout Gen 9 and Gen 8 and with draft especially too. So who knows what I was thinking at the time.
You know something, honestly, if you have issues remembering it, I'll probably just put a link in the description of the last best 2 out of 3 we had. I know you uploaded it on your channel, it's there.
Yeah.
But again, it's been so long. It's been so long, you probably might not remember. So I'm going to upload my side on this
I'm sure
video.
that if I searched it up, I could probably find it, because usually I try to, well, at least for a while, I try to put people in the description.
Right. So the point I'm trying to make is, I get it. There are mons that are objectively bad and that are objectively good. I just don't agree with Smogon dictating what's good and what's bad, and then people coming out of nowhere telling you, why are you using this? Why are you using that? This is good. This is bad. No, do this, do that. And then especially getting butt hurt when they lose to the mons that they thought was bad. And then on top of that, you literally have an abundance of examples, both VGC and Smogon, of mons being, quote, low tier, making it to the top of the ladder.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, if there's an example of like certain meta Pokemon that might maybe at a certain time be bad, but then maybe they get a new move, or the meta changes, or they found some niche. I mean, like the infamous Pachirisu example. I mean,
you remember that? The VGC Pachirisu. That's what's up.
Everybody remembers that. I was in high school. That was right around when I was getting into it. It was like, yo, somebody brought Pachirisu to Worlds. But it was because he found this niche where it has Follow Me. It has, what was a Volt Absorber Lightning Rod or something like that. And it's able to absorb the incoming lightning attacks for its partner. And it's able to tank hits better than you might think. And with a Citrus Berry, I think it like ate up a Draco and it was able to heal it off with a Citrus Berry. So Sage and Park found that role for it, you know, and there's sometimes where that happens in the course of metas. But the thing with it, because you seem to have this inclination where it's Smogon that's deciding the end, to a certain extent they are, but really it's down to like a mathematical formula. They have millions of these, well, I don't know how many, thousands, tens of thousands of these matches over the course of like months, and they're seeing which Pokemon by the numbers are at a certain threshold, and they say, okay, I guess you could say that they're determining it by whatever that threshold is, usually like 4% or something, as to say, okay, if they're used 4% or more in the OU tier, then they're going to be OU, and if they're under that, then they're going to go down. And then you might have certain, maybe that Pokemon might not have done as well in OU, but then when it gets down into the UU environment, oh snap, it's way too much. Like Terrakion or Latios or some of those classic UUBL Pokemon. It's like, okay, we're going to ban them to UUBL so they can't be used in UU. They're too strong for that, but they're just not being used enough in OU to be considered OU. And it just kind of propagates like that down the tiers. Now, there are examples where the councils, right? That's more so where they're having like direct control.
Yeah, the best of the best. Yeah, the council.
You usually, whoever's on that, if something happens, like usually it's right around whenever the DLCs would come out and all of a sudden we get these new mons. I know when Terrakion dropped down to NU at a certain point because of usage, it was like, oh no, this is way too much. They immediately quick ban it from NU because they don't want it to mess with the ladder or anything like that. And they're like, we can already tell it's going to be too much. Or they might say, no, don't ban it and let's see what it does and we can have a suspect test later. And one of the things I really like is like the suspect test, how it's like, okay, you yourself, if you really want to, you can go and you can ladder up on the ladder, you can hit this certain threshold, and you can put your own vote. It's a democratic process where we decide, are we going to ban it? Are we not? And a lot of these votes, usually it's like a 60% requirement. And a lot of these like controversial votes, like I know the Terra Blast vote was pretty controversial, and I know back in the day, Age Slash, like they're usually all pretty close. And so a lot of people disagree. I mean, 40% of people then don't want to ban that certain thing. And these are players that have met the threshold. They're obviously skilled, and they disagree. So it's a democratic process, at least, you know. Can't really think of a much better way to do it. Now, you might disagree and you might say, okay, well, I'm not going to play this tier anymore. I'm going to play this tier, or like what you've done, you say, okay, I'm going to do my Coliseum battles, and you have every right to do that, you know? So it's kind of just like, well, for the people who want to do that, they can play by this rule set. There's VGC, there's draft, there's Wi-Fi battles where you can decide the rules with your opponent. So I think it's just one alternative out of the big ecosystem that is competitive Pokemon.
Right. And that's why when I do my best 2 out of 3, my Coliseum style matches, that's why you'd see me bring a Sudowoodo against an Ogerpon. And the reason for that is because it's like, well, I don't believe in the tier system because the tier system to me limits the user. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, don't bring a fucking Groudon, Dialga, Arceus.
No box legendary.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But it's like mons that aren't like super broken from my view, or rather the creator's view. Crud. I think we still have time. But yeah, like the creator's view, it's like they're allowed for a reason because they're not as broken as you think they are. So they're fine, you know? That's why I don't believe in the tier system. I mean, And you also have to keep in mind that the tier system, it doesn't necessarily dictate how good or bad a mon is. It's determined by how often a character is used. Maybe the character isn't used that much because, again, people, they lack the mental capacity to figure out how to use it, or they just don't like it. It could be a multitude of reasons. But you can't use a system based off of usage, especially a system that is constantly changing at the blink of an eye. You can't rely on a system.
Well, it's like every 3 months usually is when the changes are, and they've actually stopped. I think they put a hard stop on there might be a certain Pokemon that drop, but I think they said they're not going to have any more rises in usage until the new games come out. Apparently, Smogon said.
Right. I want to ask you something. How far have you ever made it on the ladder? The OU ladder.
The OU ladder, I'm gonna be honest, I have not done that much laddering in my days. I usually stick to Wi-Fi battles. I think the farthest I've ever made it was somewhere around the 16 or 1700s. I really want to one day just sit down, and because I know that now I have the ability to do it. Back in the day, I wasn't that same with you. I probably wasn't reaching the top of I wasn't getting really good at competitive until Gen 7. And I started getting even better with Gen 8 as I started doing more and more Wi-Fi battles. And now Gen 9, where I've been doing drafts and all this different stuff. I know I'm somewhere in the upper level of competitive Pokemon somewhat. Because I know my skill relative to some of my opponents that I've battled. And I know how far they've gotten on the ladder, up into the high 1900s and 2000s. So I know that I could do it. It's probably also a matter of, if you want to do that, you have to, get really good at one team and push and, refine that team as you go and, push that. I get kind of sick and tired of using the same team. Every single video, I'm trying to use a different team. I know my buddy Beanard. Have you ever battled Captain Beanard? He likes to use the same team a couple times for a couple different videos. Me, I might use the same team maybe 2 times in one video, but by the time of the next video, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move past that team and into a new team because I'm trying to use all the different types of Pokemon. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I don't think Beanard likes me very much. One time I criticized his video and he took it pretty harsh. Yeah, I don't think he likes me very much.
Well. He's one of my good friends on Pokemon. He's a chill dude for the most part.
Well, that's good. That's good that he's your friend. That's good.
Yeah.
But let's see what else I want to ask. Your channel. I know that you also do let's plays, you're doing this SpongeBob game, and then I think
I really gotta finish that. Yeah, I finally got through editing the last 3 videos that I had recorded. I need to just go ahead and finish that, especially because we're about to start Battle Hub Draft League Season 8. But yeah, a lot of times I will just record for fun, whatever I feel like doing, and to take a break from Pokemon to be ready for the next season or whatever. And hey, the SpongeBob videos were actually doing better than I thought. Some of them were in several hundreds of views, which okay, good. Trying to just get different audiences and pull them in together. I mean, the biggest untapped audience that I really needed to tap into more is the Beyblade audience. I mean, that one Ryuga video that I did is over 300,000 views still, and that's where I got most of my subscribers from. So doing some more video essays is what I would like to do in the future. They just take a lot of editing and a lot of time that I usually don't have. But maybe one of these days, if I get a break or something, maybe after this season of BHGL, I'll do another Beyblade video essay.
Do you collect the Beyblades, or do you just watch the anime, read the manga?
Oh, I have all. Well, I don't collect the new Beyblade X and the Beyblade Burst. I don't have any of that, but I have a lot of the Metal Fight Beyblades.
You want to show it? You want to show it to us really quick?
Yeah, let me see if I can get it real quick.
Yeah, man. Advertise your channel a little bit. Oh, badass, cool.
Yeah. Usually I kept them in a box, but since I moved into this apartment and had a little display case, I was like, I'll put them all there. So pretty much all the Beyblades from Metal Fusion, Metal Masters, Metal Fury, and a good chunk of them from Beyblade Shogun Steel anime. But yeah, after they stopped making them out of metal, they just don't really perform as good. They don't spin for as long. The battles aren't as high impact. So And also Hasbro really dropped the ball with the quality. Like a lot of these bays were 1-to-1 in terms of quality with Takara Tomy, but once they got to Beyblade Burst, I don't know what they were doing over there at Hasbro, but it wasn't it. They're just cheap plastic, man.
Right. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of cars of today, where cars used to be made out of metal and now they're plastic now.
Yeah, kind of the same thing, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the channel is more so just like kind of a side hobby for me, just to like, I come home from work and then I am able to just like do what I want to do and upload what I want to upload and just have fun and decompress, you know?
Right. Yeah, and that's good. That's good. Yeah, everybody needs a hobby. And what better hobby than a hobby where you can make a little bit of cash from it? Because I see.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm almost to my next $100 thing from YouTube.
Yeah, have you ever considered starting a Twitch channel? Or maybe you already have Twitch?
No, I mean, if I was going to do it, I would probably do there's the live YouTube option. I mean, streaming for me, just, I mean, it takes too much time. I feel like sitting there for hours and kind of doing that. I wouldn't want to commit to that, and like, because you really got to like grow an audience from that and like continue to do it in order to maintain that audience. I prefer YouTube, and also Twitch, because they delete the VODs, right? Like they're gone after like 3 days. That's like the worst thing that could happen to me. Like I want to have my YouTube also as kind of like a time capsule of like I can always go back to those old Wi-Fi battles and see what was I thinking back then after like years, or like see the old Pokemon that I bred from back in the day and used them even then.
Right.
So I wouldn't want to lose any of the footage or anything, so that's why I prefer to keep everything on YouTube. And even if I went live on YouTube, the VODs are always saved and preserved there, so if I wanted to go watch something, I can always go back.
Right. Yeah, it's just that what's a lot of people would do is they'd stream and record on Twitch and then they'd upload it on YouTube.
Right, yes, of course.
Mm-hmm. So they'd get like double the views, double the money. Mm-hmm.
Ah, I see. Yeah. Interesting strategy.
If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. I'm just letting you know what other people do to give you an idea. Yeah,
that's fair.
Mm-hmm. So like another thing that I want to talk to you about is I'd like to talk to you about like the Pokemon community. I'd also like to talk to you about Nintendo, Game Freak.
Another big thing.
Yeah, like your experiences in the Pokemon community. Is it positive? Is it negative? Have you ever, has anybody ever criticized your videos? That anybody ever criticized the way you play? And also stuff like what are your thoughts on like Gen 8, Gen 9, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Legend ZA, Scarlet and Violet, and Champions, as well as Pokapia, the Fire Red Leaf Green re-releases, and Generation 10. And just like how Nintendo has been moving, because this part of the video is going to end in a little bit, so we probably have to do a part 2. Are you interested in doing a part 2?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was going to say, because we got less than a minute, but yeah, we should start it.
You want to do it today, or
do part 2? Yeah. I got time.
Okay. Yeah, because I think there's like a 5-minute recharge period before we can do it.
We can't just like leave the meeting and go back in, or
unfortunately, no, unless you pay for it, and I like my free.
Capitalism, man. That's what we're going to talk about, is capitalism.
Exactly. Yes. Especially, hey, did you hear about Sony PlayStation with
Sony? Yeah, I can't believe them. They're going to stop physical discs. Why?
Exactly. And another thing we're going to talk about is how Nintendo is basically going to dick ride off of what Sony is doing, and they've been low-key already doing it. And
low-key already with the digital stuff, yeah.
Pokemon Pokapia. That is a perfect example.
Yeah, exactly.
And another thing, Generation 2. Oh, I see the Mew in the background.
Yeah, the logo.
The first Pokemon in existence? Which one came first? Bulbasaur, Rhydon,
Arceus.
You remember that meme?
Yeah, I remember it. That's my buddy taught me that back in middle school.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Now, we finished speaking about Smogon. We had a lot to say about that. You know, we asked you about your first Pokemon game, and we also asked you about when you started your channel. Now we're going to get to the real and nit and gritty of things. Let's start with your personal experiences in the Pokemon community. Like, how do you feel about the community?
Over my personal experiences have been overall fairly positive. I mean, I can't really name one time. I guess the only negative experience I really had, this was in the Pokemon Go community, actually, where, because we at my university, there was a big group of people that would all go around and we'd have Discord, and we'd say, hey, there's this place that's having a raid, and then we go over there and we do that. And for most of that was positive. There was one time where this one guy, he would ask to like wait and for everybody to start the raid, because we do it in groups, right? And so then if everybody did it but him, then he'd be left behind, and everybody, you can't do it 2 times, you know? So he'd get there, he got there one time and it was late, and then he kind of got mad at me and blamed me. And so then after that, a couple times that I was like, you know what? Done with Pokemon Go, I think. It was just going to be too, and there was a lot of things with like FOMO anyway. It's like too many events and I'm working and I can't do them all, so I kind of that was really the only negative. I mean, online for Wi-Fi battling, it's overall been pretty positive. I know obviously there have been some people that I mean, Wolfie just came out and talked about his experiences at regionals with people coming up to him and like getting too close and personal with him in ways he doesn't like. I haven't experienced any of that. I mean, I'm not a big enough name for anybody to even know who I am. Usually it's always been pretty positive. I mean, obviously there's some cases where maybe people have negative interactions online, or people take things the wrong way, or I mean, people have disagreements and stuff, but I can't really say that that's happened to me that much. So, yeah.
So basically, right. So basically, you've never been in a situation where it's like, you know, you've had an opinion about something, an opposing opinion, and no one's ever like had a back and forth with you about it.
No, I mean, probably, I mean, the most like contentious stuff was probably like me and you like talking, but we always keep things civil, you know?
Right,
like,
right. Mm-hmm.
And we disagree on stuff,
Right.
but it's like I never let things escalate. It's like, okay, you got your opinions, let me give you this other point of view, you give me your point of view, and we keep things civil,
Right.
you know?
And pretty much for the most part, we respect each other, and you know, I do respect your views. Like, I don't like Smogon, I don't agree with it, but I do respect its existence. I respect how other people have their view of it, and I do see where other people are coming from. Like, I get it. Like, it's OU for a reason. Tiers, there are mons that are objectively good and objectively bad. I may not agree with how Smogon goes about it, but you know, that's fine. People are allowed to have that view, and that's why I started this segment, Voice of the People. So because I noticed something with the community. If you have a different opinion, 9 times out of 10, you see how you and I are civil. Yeah, people aren't going to do that. You haven't seen it because you haven't come across enough people that have that opposing opinion. That's why, again, like, if you've watched my Voice of the People and you've seen the stuff that I put on there, you see how toxic the Pokemon community could get. You see it. So I'm happy that
I've seen it on Twitter. I see plenty of it. I see plenty of it. I don't ever interact with it. I just look at it and I'm like, okay. But I don't ever like try to interact with it personally, you know.
And I want to say I'm happy that you, so far, you've had a positive experience, you know, because you're supposed to have fun, right?
Exactly. That's what it's all about. I wouldn't be playing Pokemon if I wasn't having fun with it.
Exactly. But now getting back to the reason why I started Voice of People. Now I started Voice of People because I notice in the Pokemon community, a lot of people, they do not have a place where they could speak freely. It's either you agree with one side or you don't. And usually if you have an opposing opinion, you're ostracized. You're treated as an outcast to the point they'll kick you out of the server. Right? Like, I don't know if you paid attention to that time when I had beef with people in Weavile's server.
Oh, in the Battle Hub?
Yeah, where I had to leave. I think I accidentally went back into the server because I was under the impression Weavile had different servers, and then they saw me and they kicked me out. Or like your friend Beanard, I criticized one of his videos, and he's had it out for me. When I say he's had it out for me, there was one time I participated in Weavile's stream. He was doing this stream where he was battling people. He usually does these streams, and Beanard was like, "Oh no, it's Monarch." It's like, you really didn't want me. He didn't want me there. Like one time when I criticized his video and I saw how he took it to heart, he took it personally. So I apologized to him. I let him know, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just keeping it 100. I'm just giving you my opinion. And he couldn't take the criticism, right?
Oh, dang.
Right, and it's like...
Beanard is usually a person. I mean, he usually likes he's a dude who loves controversy. Actually, he likes to sometimes stir stuff up and just usually he likes to kind of just do things for his own personal amusement or have little inside jokes and stuff like that. We do it all the time in draft. So I don't know. Maybe he watches his interview. I don't know if he'll come across his feed, if he'll change his mind. I don't know. But I can't speak personally about what happened there, but just one of those things, I guess.
If Beanard wants to have a rematch with me, and if he has because the thing is with Voice of the People is the people that show up in Voice of the People, they're usually people that I have battles with. It's
right, yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? A system that I do. Right?
Yeah.
Xenon was supposed to be the first person that I did a Voice of the People with. He was supposed to be the first. I don't know what's going on in his life. I'm not gonna talk like I know. I would assume he's very busy. He has a kid now, right? He's married and everything. You know that, right?
That's great for him.
Yeah. God bless him. Right, God bless him. So, I don't know if he'll ever find time to come and do Voice of the People. I hope he does. Right. Yeah, because he seems like somebody who keeps his word. Again, not assuming or presuming anything. It's just whatever is going on in his life, hopefully, God willing, he comes here and we have the Voice of the People. Now, again, the reason why I have Voice of the People is, again, so that people have a safe environment to express themselves. It's okay if your opinion is this. It's okay if your opinion is that. We don't have to be enemies. We don't have to fight with each other. It's called freedom of speech. And what people don't understand is that having an opposing opinion does not mean that you are against freedom of speech. Right.
Yes, there's limits. It easier because we're talking in voice. We can hear each other's tone. We can hear it's very easy in text communication for stuff to kind of break down because they don't know the tone. They don't know other person's eccentricities or things that they like to say. So that can very easily devolve into two people just throwing what's the word? Just throwing slurs and whatever at each other.
Right. True. That's true. But at least with Voice of the People, you and I could set an example. Right? We could set an example for people.
Yeah.
This is how you have a civil conversation. This is how you have differing opinions, and we're still good. Right? We all love Pokemon. Exactly. We love it differently, right? So again, if Beanard ever sees this video, he wants to have a rematch with me, he wants to participate in Voice of the People, you're always welcome. I respect your opinion, right? I don't hate you. I don't know you enough to hate you, right? Like I said, I have opinions. You don't have to agree with them, right? But keep it civil. Again, you're always welcome to come here. You're always welcome to battle me. Whether I win or lose, I'll upload the match. I upload all my matches. As long as you follow the rules, you keep your word, I upload the match, win or loss.
Yeah, but now BR has that same policy. I have that same policy too. Yeah, I always like to upload everything I record.
I'm not gonna lie, like one of your associates, right? The guy, he went on your channel. He's not a content creator. He's one of your subscribers. One time, I think he went on your channel. He was like, he wanted to battle you again. I think his name is Garcia or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I battled him. I used some of my teams that aren't the best, and the dude said the most offensive thing to me.
Oof.
You wanna know what he said to me?
What'd he say?
He said, "Did you get this team from Valercify?" I'm offended.
Oh.
You think
Valercify? You ever watch that Shofu music video he made about Valercify?
I heard about it. I heard a little bit of it.
You can just call me Valercify.
I take offense. You think Moi would ever mimic anything from that bottom-feeding, low-tier content creator?
Listen, when I first started out in Gen 6, actually, I was actually watching Valercify and getting like, I was new, I was brand new, I was like looking up like strats on YouTube, and I was like, oh, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. And I told my buddy that got me into Pokemon, like, oh yeah, I've been watching this guy Valercify. He's like, Valercify? Not watch Valercify, that dude's toxic. I was like, oh. So the years went on, it became very apparent to me just how toxic he can be. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's get to the nit and gritty. Now, let's see. Let's start. Okay, well, I think we already talked about the Pokemon community. You had a good experience. So, okay, so we got that part out of the way. Now let's talk about the direction of the Pokemon company, Nintendo, Sony, trying to get rid of physical media and end the ownership of games, how that's connected to Pokemon, Nintendo, how that's ultimately going to affect us. Yeah. So now, I would think, and another thing we need to talk about is the quality of the past Pokemon games.
Right, yes.
Now, I did a voice of the people with my homeboy, his name's Zay. I don't know if you watched that.
I watched it, yeah.
You watched it? Okay, all right. So, long story short, we were talking about the trumpets of Pokemon getting bad, and the trumpets started with Gen 6. And apparently, that's a general consensus because you said you grew up on Shofu, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Sometimes Shofu would say in his videos, and he would also say on Twitter about how Pokemon's just getting from bad to worse.
Yeah.
Like Gen 5. Gen 5 was the last great era of Pokemon. Fun fact, did you know that we were supposed to get a Battle Revolution 2?
Oh man, we were.
We were
good.
Yeah, that was the thing. We were supposed to get a Battle Revolution 2, and we never got it. And I'm really pissed off because
When was that supposed to come out?
Do you
know when it would have come out? Or?
That's a good question. I mean, it was a rumor. I think it was a rumor that I heard this from. I need to do more information on it, like, because maybe there was a
time
leak
with like the Wii U, and maybe it would have come out for like late Gen 6 or 7.
But there was supposed to be a Battle Revolution 2, and it was supposed to be from Gen 1 to Gen 5. It was supposed to end the Gen 5 generation with a bang.
Wow, I see. Huh.
And if that rumor is true, I'm saying it's a rumor. I haven't 100% researched it. I've just heard other content creators talk about it. So if a Battle Revolution 2 was supposed to be a thing, which it may have, because on the 3DS, I don't know if you remember the Pokédex feature, the 3D Pokédex feature that was only on the 3DS. Yeah, that
I remember.
Right, you had the Gen 5
3DS, yeah.
You had the Gen 5 Mons in 3D. They would say their names aloud. The OG Pokemon announcer back from the 4Kids WB era. He'd call out the Pokemon's names, the Gen 5 names. So there's a real possibility that there may have been plans for a Battle Revolution 2. And it's a darn shame we never got it. Because that would have been lit. That would have been fire.
Oh, I know. I remember scrolling through. I didn't have I think there was a full edition that had every single Pokemon had different stuff. I only had the free one. I guess it was only Gen 5. But because I didn't start until X and Y, but there was like a period where I was like really getting into Pokemon because I was getting ready for X and Y. So I was watching like J-Wits and Shoku and all them and the Pokemon Cypher, and I was like going through the Pokédex, and I played like a lot of like the TCG with like the Gen 5 Pokemon. So I was, and the anime too, I was fully immersed in kind of like the Gen 5. I didn't play the games. I didn't play Black or White 2 or anything like that, but the general idea, so a lot of those Gen 5 Pokemon still hold like a special place in my heart.
Right.
That was kind of like my soft launch for Pokemon.
Right. And it was the most ambitious, had the most Mons added from any decks, a really great mechanic with hidden abilities.
Yes, hidden abilities, love those. Yeah, I was going to say, because listening back to your video, and I was thinking about it when you said that Gen 6 was kind of like the beginning of the fall of Pokemon, I was thinking about that, and I think part of why, like, we got kind of a little bit about in the Terra leaks, right? Because we saw what they were saying after Gen 5 came out. They were like, people don't like this hard reset that we did where we only included Gen 5 Pokemon. People were upset. People were up in arms, even though now people look back and they like that part about it. But they were like, okay, let's not do that anymore. Let's double down on Gen 1 nostalgia. Let's do Mega Evolutions. Let's shrink this dex down that we're going to do. Let's cut it down to like 60, 70 Pokemon.
Yep.
And let's overhaul this and focus all of our stuff on Pokemon. They call it Pokemon Beauty, which is going to be Pokemon X and Y. So it would seem that the backlash that they received to Gen 5 is ultimately kind of what began to change this direction, like you said, in the Pokemon franchise. And after we started going down that trail, it's kind of what I think started the decline, kind of, I guess.
Right, the downward spiral, the trumpet. Like I said before, Shofu in some of his videos and on Twitter, even he mentioned that Pokemon was downgrading in quality since Gen 6. It was still playable, it was still enjoyable because you had features that was worthwhile indulging.
PSS, bro. The PSS was, in my opinion, that was my first game, and Shofu even said himself, your favorite Pokemon game is going to be whatever game you played first. You know, and X and Y was my first game, but I feel like objectively the PSS was the best way to do battle. You could talk to people on your 3DS. I was having conversations with who knows who. Probably like older people. Maybe that's why they cut it out. But it was fun to be able to talk and like give little like smack talk. I'm like, oh yeah, look what I did to your guy, you know?
That's not all. Another really good feature was the verse recorder. The verse recorder was.
I filled that thing up. I'm so sad that my file for Pokemon X got deleted, and I deleted this file for ORAS because I had so many good battles back in the day. Yeah.
That's not all. You could also, there's a feature in the verse recorder where you could have a rematch with.
I did a lot of that too. Yup. Battle the AI, with the same teams.
Exactly. You don't have stuff like that anymore.
That's what I'm saying, is like a lot of times it's one step forward but then two steps back, because they had that, but then there's other stuff that like people thought that the XY post game was pretty stale, even though I felt like, I really enjoyed the breeding concept. I got hours and hours of content from playing and breeding all the Mons and battling against the Battle Mason. Like, for me, that was my post game.
Right.
Same with ORAS, to a lesser extent, but still kind of the same in Sun and Moon, or Sun and Moon, you know?
Right. So we learned from, I think, data mine leaks that in X and Y you were supposed to explore another area of the Kalos region. right?
Oh man, the Southern Kalos region.
Yeah, oh, you heard of it.
Let us into the freaking power plant where we should have gotten Volcanion, and I thought that Legend ZA was going to do that, but no, of course not. Why would it?
They also got rid of contests, because if you watch the X and Y anime, there were contests.
Yeah, Serena.
Right. And I like what they did with contests in Auras, where like, okay, you do the contests, you get rewarded. You don't just get a cutscene, you don't just get content, you get rewarded. What that reward was the cosplay Pikachu.
Right, yes, I got that.
And I think, well, I don't know if anybody ever used cosplay Pikachu competitively, but I think cosplay Pikachu
I did, because that you had to hit Icicle Crash.
Yeah, exactly.
Type.
Yeah, right. And then, like, I believe cosplay Pikachu had slightly higher stats than regular Pikachu.
I'm not sure about that part, but maybe, I don't know, if I just don't remember it.
I mean, you could at the end of the day, like, you could also give it the light ball and, like, double its offensive stats.
I mean, yeah, for sure. There's always that, yeah.
So basically, Icicle Crash Pikachu with the light ball, it's going to hit really hard.
Yeah, I used to do that, for sure.
And another way how like they kind of cut content with Pokemon Auras is the Battle Frontier never came back. People really wanted that back. Never came back.
I was bummed about that too at the time.
And then there was also rematches with gym leaders. You know, when you'd go on the what was it called, Poketch? Is that what it was? No, not Poketch. I'm trying to remember. I think it's called Pokegear, right? Gen 3.
Something in the Pokegear, yeah. There's somewhere on the lower menu screen.
Yeah, the phone. And like in Emerald, you could have rematches with the gym leaders. So like for whatever reason in Auras, you could still call the gym leaders, but there's no rematches.
Yeah.
You ever played Emerald? You ever played Pokemon Emerald?
Unfortunately, the only time I played Pokemon Emerald is on a ROM hack that I did with my buddy Tony Torkohl in Versus. I'm really hoping that they put it on the Nintendo Switch too, that I can get it and play Pokemon Emerald for real for the first time.
Oh, I remember Tony Torkohl. I battled him before. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, we battled several times, and we've done like 3. He's uploading right now a 3v3 that we, or 1+1+1 that we did. It's a 3-way Nuzlocke.
Yeah, that's another person that, you know, I haven't interacted with Tony Torkohl much. We only had that one best 2 out of 3, and he uploaded one of the matches we had. This was a couple years back, but again, if Tony Torkohl watches this, you know, hit me up on Discord. We could battle, and if we battle and you're interested in Voice of the People, you too could participate in this. You know, express yourself, you know. So yeah, so Gen 6, you know, cut content from Kalos. There was no Battle Frontier. There was no rematches with gym leaders. Now, one of the reasons why I asked you if you played Emerald is not just about the rematches with gym leaders or the Battle Frontier. There's this character that's integral to the story of the Hoenn region. You remember the character Wallace, right? In Emerald, he's the champion.
He becomes the champion, yeah.
Right, and in the original games, Ruby, Sapphire, Auras,
he's the 8th gym leader. Right,
he's the 8th gym leader. Now, if you pay close attention to the story, Wallace will tell you he has a teacher. He has a teacher. The teacher taught him about contests, and the teacher also taught him the ways of battling. In Pokemon Emerald, he's the 8th gym leader, and that's why Wallace is the champion. I don't know if you remember that.
I think I remember seeing that because my playthrough with Tony Torkohl, when we played through Emerald, I probably battled him.
Right,
the 8th gym leader.
Mm-hmm. So, like, he's such an important character to the world of Pokemon. He's also in Black and White too, by the way, where you do the gym leader
tournament.
Right, yeah, the World Tournament, when you battle the gym leaders, right, he's in there. So my point is, he's an important character, and you don't add him in Auras. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Definitely unfortunate.
Now we're gonna get to the bane of Pokemon's existence, the abomination that is what I like to call sword and shit, Pokemon Gen 8.
It's where a lot of people stopped. A lot of people, there's a lot of folks I know that skipped over Generation 8. They played Gen 7, they didn't play Gen 8, but they came back in Gen 9.
With those sales figures, and I don't know if you were there that time on Twitter when people were saying thank you Game Freak. I don't know if you were on Facebook like how I was back in the day. Like, I'd literally get into arguments about how they are lying to you when they say that the Mons can't fit in the game, and they're doing it for graphics and animations when they are literally reusing assets. And then
I saw the comment I think somebody made about how, oh, we can't fit all the Pokemon in the game, but then you add a DLC and then suddenly you can fit 100 more Pokemon in the game. It clearly can't be because of storage. I mean, for crying out loud, the infamous story of Gold and Silver, where they were actually struggling because of the hardware limitations at the time to put all the Pokemon in the game. But then guess what? We had, who was it? Was it Iwata, or it was somebody else that was working at the time that managed to like compress the files to fit not only all those Pokemon, but 2 regions into the game? I mean, come on. It's not a matter of that. It has to be about, I don't know if they're understaffed or if they don't have enough time or if it's they're not giving them what it is. But they should be able to do it. I did have this conversation with my buddy back in the day. I think we were on the school bus and we were just talking Mons like we always do at the end of the day. And we were like, you know what? Someday, and this was like right around when Gen 7 was going to come up, we're like, someday Pokemon is going to get up to 1,000 Pokemon. And we're like, what are they going to do when they get that? And then like at a certain point, they're not going to be able to, they're not going to keep putting all the Pokemon in the game. They're going to like selectively take some out. And then sure enough, Generation 8, what happens? Dex it. And a lot of the Mons get cut. You know, just like we thought. I don't know exactly why. I don't think it's because of storage. It has to either be because of time constraints, because they're having to keep these things going out every 3 years, though they stopped doing that now, obviously, with Gen 10. But like the time constraints, I don't know if that's why. I mean, Pokemon Black and White 2 came out and when? Was that 2012? Or was it 2011?
Oh, Black and White 2, you said?
Yeah, Black and White 2.
Yes, 2012, yes.
So literally a year before X and Y. So they were making that game and they had to work on X, Y. So you can imagine then why X and Y might have felt a little bit light, because they just had to come up with the game the year before. So these time constraints are... And a lot of Pokemon fans have expressed this, like, hey, you don't have to keep going with these same 3-year time constraints, because obviously the games are getting more complex than when they were on the Game Boy and on the DS as you upscale them to 3DS and now the Switch, you know? So I think that's why they're taking note of that, and they're taking longer to make these games, which I understand. As long as the quality improves, like if they're taking 5 years to make Gen 10, then it better be a good game. That's all I'm saying. But I mean, it kind of tracks that eventually they were going to make a Dex cut.
Right.
As unfortunate as it was.
Right. Yeah, I feel you. Honestly, in my honest opinion, I feel as though that the Dex cut would have been more accepted with Gen 9, because if you pay like attention to the trailer, like you saw with Gen 9, they actually took the resources they had and they implemented it in the graphics somewhat. Yes, a lot of people would say, but Coliseum XD Gale Darkness Battle Revolution still looks better. That's true. However, I also want you to pay close attention to, like, with Scarlet and Violet, they implemented the correct Pokemon sizes in the overworld of the game, right? Yeah. And also, like, the Pokemon's features, like, when you're traveling in the world of Pokemon, you see when the sun is setting or it's a sunny day.
Yeah. And it's like truly like open world. Like Sword and Shield was only open world in the wild area, which, you know, at the time was pretty cool. I was pretty amazed by that. But then freaking flying, of course, you got to get the DLC to have this, but I'm flying around on my Miraidon and I'm cruising all over Paldea. You know, it's a lot of fun to be able to do that. So that's one of the big positive points that I give Scarlet and Violet.
And another thing is like the textures of the Pokemon. Like I said, Magnemite, Magneton, Magnezone, their metallic skin. You see sunlight reflecting from
metallic skin.
Lucario is fluffy, right?
Yeah.
If you played the DLC, like when you're in the Unova region, the Blueberry Academy. You gotta be kidding me. We're running out of time again. We have so much good stuff to talk about.
Oh, we at least got 10 minutes. We might have to do a part 3.
Do you want to? You want to do a part 3?
I could, yeah.
Okay, so let me quickly say what I'm saying about Gen 5.
Well, we got 10 minutes at least on this part.
Right. So like with the Blueberry League, right? Trapinch. You see Trapinch in a hole of dirt. You read the Pokédex. That's what Trapinch likes to do. It feels comfortable in dirt. The point is, because of the open world feature, because of Scarlet and Violet, they're paying attention to detail, not just the physique of the Pokemon, but the characteristics of the Pokemon.
Yeah. And
that's how you know, well, there's someone in Game Freak and Pokemon Co. They love Pokemon. In fact, scary fact, the one who is in charge of the art design of Lugia committed suicide because Game Freak and Pokemon Co. was bastardizing Lugia.
Is that true? He did it because
I saw a video about it. I did not 100% fact check it, but the video seemed to be spot on because the video was talking about the father of Pokemon, Satoshi. You ever heard of Satoshi? Yeah, the father of Pokemon.
I mean, who Ash is named after?
Exactly. Oh, you know Ash's Japanese name, Satoshi.
Oh, right? Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right. So like he was very passionate about Lugia's art design, and he didn't like the fact that Game Freak Pokemon Co. They were like, oh, we're a corporation, money. So they were like bastardizing Lugia's lore, and he was very passionate about it, and he kept on getting drunk with heavy liquor, and he indulged drugs, and then I think somewhere down the line he just committed suicide. He was very passionate about Lugia. You could fact check it. And anybody watching this video, you all could fact check it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just going based off of a video that I saw. The videos seem to be accurate. Maybe I'll go and I'll fact check it. You look like you're fact checking it, Emerald. Are you fact checking?
It says here that he's still alive.
Oh, he's still alive. Oh, okay.
It says that there was an earthquake, and the rumors spread that Tachiria died in the disaster.
Oh, it was
but it seems like he's still alive. Let me see. Who created the design of Lugia? Takeshi Shudo. What happened to him? Let me see. Died in 2010. You see death. Around the age of 50, he was frequently ill and entered the hospital, collapsed after a subarachnoid hemorrhage. Dang. In the Pokemon anime I Choose You, they posthumously credited him as a partial screenwriter, as he wrote the script for the first episode of the TV anime. That makes sense because Ho-Oh.
Right.
So if he was making Lugia, he might have also designed Ho-Oh.
Oh, so he's the creator of the design of Lugia.
Yeah, that's what it says. For Pokemon, he created Team Rocket's famous motto and conceptualized Lugia.
Okay, so he died of an illness, basically.
Seems like it, yeah.
Okay, so basically that was a rumor that he offed himself.
I imagine. Yeah, it's probably like the Lavender Town rumors, you know.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So so basically somebody in in the Pokemon company in Game Freak, they care about the franchise, hence why they put so much attention to detail. But at the end of the day,
we appreciate those people.
Yeah, we do. Like Genius Sonority with Coliseum, XD Gale Darkness, Battle Revolution. I heard that the people of Genius Sonority that worked on Coliseum, XD Gale Darkness, that was their first Pokemon game. They never really played a Pokemon game. They never really. But it's like, you could also fact check that. But again, the people that talked about it in the YouTube videos, they seem to be pretty spot on about it.
It makes sense. It makes sense because it was so different, but like it still had a lot of the core elements. Hence why people probably really enjoyed it.
Right, exactly. It's like the first ever Pokemon game they ever worked on, and they got it right the first time. Yeah. Right? And it's like, if you just got Genius Sonority to work on Pokemon Champions, to work on Gen 10, you gave them millions of dollars, you gave them a big time frame, you gave them like 5, 6, 7 years to work on it, they would make the best Pokemon game ever, I'm telling you. If you gave Genius Sonority the money, the resources, the time, they will make the greatest mothership title Pokemon game. Pokemon Champions looks like shit, especially when you compare it to Battle Revolution. I mean,
wait, I feel like Pokemon Champions looks okay. Well, then again, I mean, I'm not usually too much into the graphics, but I feel like, I mean, I'm always pretty pleased with how it looks on my screen when I'm playing.
Yeah. Well, I only say it looks like shit when you're comparing it to Battle Revolution, Coliseum.
Maybe,
yeah, when you compare it to them.
I can see what you mean, because there's definitely a lot of like the animations, and whenever they go down, like I feel like it definitely had a lot more kind of spirit in it. You know what I mean?
It did. Like, just,
which I think is what people give the same argument with the sprites, right? Like the Gen 5 sprites, people really love those because there's so much personality and character in them.
Right.
I mean, I always prefer like the 3D models, but people, when they talk about the 3D models, they're like, look at Typhlosion, look at how bland it looks. You know?
Right.
No, I can see that argument for sure.
Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, Champions looks bad when you compare it to like Coliseum XD and Battle Revolution. But does it look bad in general? I guess it depends on your view, because there are moments where Champions looks really good, like the animation, Gigaton Hammer, Tinkaton signature move. That looks really good.
In the air and
exactly, yeah. That's a good.
Yeah, I used it for my thumbnail one of the times. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think I probably edited it in a way that it looks like Tinkaton is going right on the guy.
Right. And that's a good, in my honest opinion, you give it to Genius Sonority, they'd make it look even better. But it looks pretty good in Champions. So Champions does some stuff right. I'll give you another example. Volt Tackle. Volt Tackle in Champions looks a lot better than Volt Tackle in Battle Revolution, unfortunately. So, that's that. But like, now if we're talking about general moves like Blizzard, Ice Beam, or Sheer Cold, Battle Revolution better. That's no debate.
Oh yeah. For sure, because the one thing that Sword and Shield had over Scarlet and Violet was the animations. Like the animations I used to have in Sword and Shield made for excellent thumbnails. Like there's still this one that I have of like Teeny using V-Create and stuff like that. There's a lot of like special moves that it did really good there, and like Urshifu using Surging Strikes. But when you put it into Scarlet and Violet, whenever they have to account for it being open world, all of a sudden those animations, there's no cinematic animation for it. It just does the move. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, for certain animations, like if you talk like Pyro Ball or Snipe Shot,
exactly,
stuff like that, those animations look good. But if we're talking about animations like Tackle or Double Kick, those animations are terrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, they gotta focus it somewhere. I would prefer that they focus it on the good moves,
Right. True. But if you think of games like Coliseum XC Gale of Darkness, where like the animations, regardless of the move, they're generally pretty good.
I really need to do it. It's on the online expansion thing, right? I need to go through. I think once I finish the SpongeBob playthrough, I need to go and play XD Gale of Darkness, because I never played it.
You never played it?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't start until Pokemon X and Y.
Goodness.
It was before my time.
I hope you do play it. It's like Coliseum and XC, they're one of the greatest Pokemon games ever.
Yeah. It's crazy. They isn't XD Gale of Darkness the second one though? They still haven't put the first one on there.
Right. And in the next part, because we have less than a minute, where we're going to continue to talk about like the Pokemon, the games, the quality, the direction of the
We
company.
got to get it a Pokopia and all that.
Right, exactly. Yep. And Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness. I think Pokemon hates it. I think Pokemon Co. and Game Freak, I think they hate the Ore games. And I'm going to go into detail in the next video as to why that is.